Alright, alright. What's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at Cardano, ADA, against USDT. I'm going to be taking a look at some of these key technical aspects of price action moving forward. I'm going to be assessing the pivotal areas of support and resistance I believe we're going to be interacting with in the very near future here. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you trade? Do you hold? Or do you let the price action unfold? What are you doing with your bag if you have one? Are we at support? Are you bullish? Do you think we're about to pump back up to the multi-dollar range that we came from not too long ago when we're gonna head to the moon again? Or are you bearish and we have some more downside ahead of us and we're gonna drop to these lower ranges that we were interacting with not too long ago as well? Let me know your thoughts on the direction of price action down below. Jumping right into it to sort of recap price action that is now interacting with this ascending trend line that comes like the middle of March 2020, the 15th of March of 2020. There we had kind of price action interacting above this ascending trend line for weeks, interacting with horizontal support and resistance levels along the way. We had a break downward on the 3rd of September there for a period of weeks as well, all the way up until the 6th of January of 2021. We have interaction with this ascending trend line as resistance, and so multiple rejections off of it at the kind of like 7th and then the 18th of January before the beginning of February. We had enough momentum to kind of break upward and become above it again, more bullish. Very vertical price action. These sell-offs and the sell pressure present from these kind of pumps were bought up very quickly. All these dips were bought. FOMO was very present at these levels. And so this very fundamental heavy buy pressure was met with very technical sell pressure, and I believe that caused this prolonged sideways that we got trapped in. Fundamental bullishness of the coin allowed us to break upward briefly, but there is still a very high amount of very technical sell pressure, I do believe, present. And so we interacted with these kind of very key ranges of support and resistance, I believe, found around kind of $1.43, and we have kind of lows of like $1.02 or like $1 range. We traded kind of like between those kind of 2 points for what appears to be like kind of 68 days, just over 2 months before breaking upward, finding support at kind of like a crazy swing low of like 92 cents. From that point, bouncing off of the kind of ascending trend line, we set a kind of swing high of like $2.42, 161% in 23 days, blasting through significant resistance around $1.44. Although we were met with very high sell pressure that was still present, and so price action came plummeting downward, and the momentum changed very abruptly, and we are now coming out of that aggressive sell-off. Price action seems to be closing down below that ascending trend line, in addition to interaction with this pivotal $1 and kind of 44-cent sort of range. These sort of like $1.38 to $1.48 is the kind of like range that I believe price action will have to sort of interact with over the next kind of coming days to determine if we can be more short-term bullish or bearish. In my opinion, this could be the kind of last chance price action has to pump upward and get back above this ascending trend line, or at least $1.48 for me to be a short-term kind of bullish still. I do believe some potential downside is present if we interact with that level as resistance or this ascending trend line. Potential support could be found at around $1. Perhaps some lows just under $1 could present themselves before the uptrend can continue. I do believe we are quite bullish long-term, but technically there are some some bearish short-term factors present at the moment. One we will consider: EngineeringRobo, along with the Fibizucchini Illuminati lines of bikinis and martinis. We can see a new perspective come into play. This is 0.618 Fibonacci line at $1.53, and the 0.5 Fibonacci line at $1.24. This seems like a significant range we could see price action interacting with. We can still be perhaps midterm bullish if we were to find support at the 0.5 line, just below my kind of significant range here. We can still be bullish if we were to bounce off that range, although failure to hold that will likely bring us down to my kind of lower zone here near $1. And that 200 daily moving average, along with the 0.382 Fibonacci level at 95 cents, is going to be a significant area of support if we were to be bearish enough to kind of come down to it. The 0.618 line does seem to be significant kind of local resistance, in addition to my resistance at $1.48. $1.53, I believe, could be another point of interaction that could send us downward, which does correlate with kind of that ascending trend line still. So lots going on at the moment. Sell 2, sell 3, super sell 4, all these crazy sell signals coming in on the crazy day that was the 19th of May. So I do believe there's a lot of fundamental, bullish reasons why price action is still kind of high demand at this level. But there is some very high technical sell pressure, I believe, keeping price action sideways for this prolonged period of time. Being above this 200 daily moving average is quite bullish long term. But with EngineeringRobo being bearish and these technical resistance that we appear to be interacting with, I do believe some short-term downside might present itself to allow the uptrend to continue in the long term. If we were to consider Cardano against the price of Bitcoin, a new perspective comes into play. Interaction between this very significant range of 3094 Satoshi as potential support, along with 5305 Satoshi as potential resistance, I believe is going to be this very significant range that we could trade between for the next kind of few months here, perhaps. We do have local support and resistance levels with these kind of like swing highs. We have that swing high at 49.73. We have these crazy wicks coming all the way down to my support line at 30.94, but we also have some lows at like 33.59 and 36.24 Satoshi. And so I do believe there are some kind of pivot points locally that we're going to interact with, but that kind of key range, that super wide range I have kind of printed there, is going to be the likely zone that we might be trapped in for the sort of like midterm. Price action above 5303 Satoshi will be kind of more long-term bullish, and we can expect price action to take off. If we were to consider EngineeringRobo along the Fibba Zucchini lines, we can see a new perspective come into play. The sell 4 present against price action against the price of Bitcoin, and we have interaction with, I believe, resistance at the moment. This is 0.786 Fibonacci line appears to be resistance currently, with price action being a tad below it. And if we fail to kind of break above and start closing above what appears to be 40, 59 Satoshi, kind of where we are exactly right now, then that would perhaps confirm that as resistance and could set price action down to potential support at the 0.618 Fibonacci line at 32.75 Satoshi. It appears to be short-term kind of local potential support around kind of like 37.83 to like 38.52 Satoshi. But I do believe we're likely to kind of break downward through that in interaction with that 0.618 line. I believe is kind of more likely. If you were to kind of close above that, we can be more short-term bullish in interaction with this. Appears to be local resistance at kind of like 47.40 Satoshi would be more likely. But at this point, the 0.786 line appears to be resistance, and a break downward perhaps might be pending here. Now, when we consider Bitcoin against USDT, we can see new perspective come into play. Price action interacting with that 0.5 Fibonacci line, 34,300, very significant support. We do have a wick way past it, interaction with 33,300, and so this is still the kind of like last level that price action is going to have to hold, that I can suspect we can kind of recover in the short term and perhaps get another whack at 0.618 line at 41,500. Very significant resistance, significant enough to slap us right back away from it even before we can even get to it. Price action was stomped right back down to where it came from, and so this does seem to be a kind of very crucial point that we could find some nice support at, but price action could very well make its way to that 32K level and interact with that as support as well. Like I said, most bearish target in previous analysis is always going to be the 0.382 Fibonacci line. 27K is my most bearish bullish target. Price action at that level is still bullish in my opinion long term, but we'll have to see if we are bearish enough to kind of make it down there. We have the technical sell pressure off of that 200 daily moving average and the 0.618 Fibonacci line. EngineeringRobo being bearish with that sell 4 present. So we do have a lot of reasons to be short-term bearish and a lot of very potent sell pressure present. So all of these pumps upward are going to be met with, I believe, retracements downward and pullbacks towards support. As there, like I said, there's a lot of sell pressure present at the moment. Fundamental buy pressure is, I believe, what's causing, the kind of bounces upward at this point. There's still a very high demand for Bitcoin at this level, and so I believe the fundamentals are keeping us bullish, but the technicals are keeping us sideways. So lots going on with Bitcoin. We could very much recover and see some upside over the next couple of days. Although we're gonna have to see how this daily candle closes in interaction with that zero point 0.5 Fibonacci line. If the body can stay above it, I can be more short-term bullish. But if we start seeing interaction below 34,300, we can perhaps suspect 32K. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Thank you for tuning in. Try EngineeringRobo free with the link in the description. Subscribe here on YouTube. Let me know what you're doing with your bag. If you have one, do you trade Cardano? Do you trade Bitcoin? Are you accumulating in this crazy lows for the uptrend? Do you think all-time highs are around the corner, or are we still bearish? And you think price action has more downside ahead? We're heading back to the 20Ks, teens, the 10Ks where we came from not very long ago. Let me know your thoughts on price action in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in for the next one.